Ba 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 ba. Greetings and aloha. What's going on? It's Mike's from livemyassoff.com. Chris, how you doing? Glad to have you along for the ride. Indeed, I am live on YouTube, so I'm very happy about that. As long as I'm live on YouTube, life is quite good. I'm trying a new. So, welcome to the Cool Kids Table, and welcome to Pigeon Cam, ladies and gentlemen. Rather than have a green screen, I make my own green. And good to see you from Germany. Thank you so much for coming by, Mariano. Glad you found that video. That's cool. Mariano and I are actually going to change the world one IP address at a time via the world's greatest media company. I think we're going to call it Mikeyano. How's that? Oh, Bob, good to see you, man. I've seen you in the chat a couple of times, and I really, really appreciate your comments as well in the videos afterwards. And if you guys don't know, I actually watch back through the live streams sometimes to make sure like things worked or what didn't work or what worked or what didn't work. And so I've seen you in there a few times, and I thought, oh, shoot, he went back, through the comments, and I didn't get to him. So I apologize for that. Dave, thank you so much for coming by. I saw you here earlier. Missy, thank you so much. Good to see you. I'm really, really glad you're here. Missy, and okay, so first of all, for you guys that are here, thank you. But secondly, one of the reasons I'm here is because I stopped drinking and using 29 years ago in 3 minutes. I'm starting a little early today. And so it is 8 a.m. here in Bangkok, which means it's 6 p.m. in Southern California, which is where I went to my first meeting on May 28th of 1992, which was 29 years ago, basically right now. And it changed my life. One of the people that was in my life before I got sober, as well as after, was Missy. And Missy and I had some great times together, like as kids, like in other words, like 10 years old kids, like 12 years old, 15 years old, but then also later on as adults in Southern California, Newport Beach, not the least of which. And I was not sober then. Or maybe I was. Shoot, I don't even remember. At the end of the day, Missy has always been in my life as a positive force and very encouraging. And so thank you so much for coming by. Bob, I can't remember where you are, though. I can't remember, but thanks for coming by, man. And I'm glad that we're all your favorite YouTubers. The other reason I'm doing this at 8 a.m., it actually worked out. I would have done it at 8 a.m., i.e. 6 p.m. Southern California time anyway. However, this works out really well because, as you know, all of us are sort of part of this Cool Kids Table that's ever expanding. But there's a whole bunch of other Thai YouTubers that go live at 9 a.m. on Saturday. So I thought, all right, well, I'll do it at 8 a.m. on Saturday. And then that way I'm not encroaching on anybody else. And my ego will still survive because you guys are here and not there. So at about 8:58, I can see why all of a sudden, the number of people will decrease. And I'll be more than okay with that. So, Andy, thank you for coming by, man. I really, really appreciate it. And Robert Mack, I thank you guys too for your comments on my video. I actually got the idea to do the scrolling story of my sort of recovery, or what was referred to in the book as my defining moment of courage. And if you don't know, if you didn't read the description, or you don't know or care, quite frankly, that story was in a book that we produced in about 2012, and in July of 2012 it hit number 1 on Amazon. So I'm a number 1 Amazon bestseller, and therefore I can afford a $400 a month apartment here in Bangkok, Thailand. So that's quite nice, isn't it? All the fruits of my labor. Mr. Mitch, good to see you, my friend. Glad you guys are coming by. I am actually finally 29 years old, indeed, sir. Good to see you, Hike. We were chatting about you, actually. Someone was like, oh, I haven't seen him in a while. I said, oh, no, I saw him over at Dana's live stream the other day. So But it's good to see you. I believe it is it's either 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. where you are. I can't remember what time zone you're in. And yeah, life is good. There's a lot that's up actually, and yeah, thank you, Missy. I'm happy. And so that was just the beginning of a gratitude attack. As you know, I can pretty much talk like nonstop for approximately 8 hours before I need to use the restroom, and then I come back and do another 4 on a live stream. But when I pause, a lot of times it's a thank you, JC. Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you for coming by, Jeremy. And I didn't even think about that. You're probably doing a subscriber live stream. So anyway, but I made sure that I'll be done all this nonsense. It's not actually, it's bullshit. It's not nonsense. I'll be done all of this gratitude attacking on camera at 9:00. And then I'm going to go to a meeting and hang out with some of my other sober brothers and bathe in the glory of what I get to live, which is simply just my life, which is friggin' amazing. No, I wasn't when I was in Laguna, but it was all good. So Missy may not know this, but so when we were there, we went dancing across the way at what I believe was a bar called The Place Across from the Laguna Beach Hotel. I'm not quite sure, but in any case, it was like inside, right on sort of the main strip there, if you guys are familiar with Laguna Beach. So we go in there, and for whatever reason, I decided that I should dance barefoot, like all night on a hardwood floor. And so later, my feet hurt. The following morning, my feet hurt a lot. But the funny thing, and so Missy and I have been friends. We've never been dating or anything like that. We've always been really, really good friends. And I'm an only child, so quite frankly, she's like one of my sisters, and certainly one of the only two really back then, because it was her that lived right next door to me, and then next door to her was Stacy. But Stacy was like 3 years older than me, and when you're in like junior high and high school, 3 years is a big delta, right? Whereas Missy and I we're apart by 1 grade, so we actually had some of the same friends. Like occasionally we would, kind of all get together and listen to my Men at Work album that I just bought. And so anyway, so we're hanging out in Laguna Beach at her family's house. And we decide, of course, because we're inebriated, that we should go swimming at night in the dark. And so we go out there and we're like, bouncing around, having a whole content. And then some lady comes out. She like takes her top off. She goes, "Oh my God, you should like totally take your clothes off, right?" I'm just like, "Yeah, Missy, would you focus? He's telling you to take your clothes off. Clearly, that's what they do around here." Didn't work. She saw right through me. East Bridgewater, that is our. Yeah, go to Hull, Bob. I'm excited to go walking on Nantasket Beach when I get back. I'm also psyched to go to Hull Gut because I love the current of the water there, but I also love the wind turbine they have at the end of there. So I love to go and hang out there and just sit and stare at the water, actually. So that's kind of cool. Am I ready for another episode of Bangkok Strange? Yeah, me too. And in fact, I don't. So there's a number of things that have sort of queued up, not the least of which is getting Gracie's passport back, which unfortunately was supposed to occur yesterday. Doesn't look like it's going to happen until Wednesday. Naturally, I thought to myself, well, if we don't get it Friday, we'll get it Monday, and then therefore we'll go to the Philippine embassy on Tuesday. So that's when I made the appointment. Nope, spoiler alert, we're not going to get the passport back till Wednesday. So therefore, I got to change. The good news is with the Philippine embassy is they have a lot of available appointments, and so sliding it until Thursday will be. Bless you, honey. Sliding until Thursday will be a doable. But that's right. I forgot. I can always know what time it is in the morning because Gracie will power sneeze. She'll go through 3 or 4, maybe 6 in total, and then it stops for like the whole day. And gratefully, it's not, it doesn't like keep her up at night and that sort of thing. But for whatever reason, that's her reality. And I don't know whether it's like, God, the sky looks amazing today. I don't know whether it's allergies or something like that. They do spray for bugs, mosquitoes, everything once a month, and they usually do it around the 26th or 27th. So who knows? But yeah. So anyway, so once sort of that time frees up, meaning that I'm able to commit to doing something, certainly on a Saturday morning, then I'm very excited to cruise over there and hang out. Back in 10, guy just showed up to buy some of my junk. Good. Oh, that's right. So Mitch is doing. I don't. Well, he talks about it quite a bit actually on Dave's live streams, but he's doing the whole like, dude, I'm leaving. Like I'm doing what you guys did to get over there, to come over here. And it's so cool because it's not like one of those things where I did it and I watched a whole bunch of guys do it before I did it on YouTube. And then finally I did it and I got over here. And now I have so much interest in listening and watching and seeing the transformation of other guys to come over here because, I mean, it's awesome. It's truly awesome. So as you can tell, I've got layers going on. How the hell did you get layers in Restream, Mike? Well, I'm using OBS as my virtual camera. And okay. Ah, boy. All right, that was my bad. I haven't used OBS in a while, so I completely forgot about doing that. So stand by. Let me change let me fix the scene, and let me go over here and add in the audio. Wouldn't that be a genius move? But thank you for letting me know. I was glad I was paying attention to that and was able to remedy it soon, unlike before. Let me also go down here and add it in. And I'm also using a couple of filters, not the least of which is noise reduction, compression, and limiting. And then let me put this in here too, so that when I do roll the credits, I can have you guys, or I can be speaking with you guys in a fairly intelligent manner, which of course is a stretch for me, fairly intelligent, but it's all relative. And let me do it on this final one, just in case I do go over there, which I doubt I will, but just in case, let me make sure that the microphone is everywhere. Okay, so let me get out of studio mode. So, all right, so now when I go over here, you can still hear me, right? Please tell me. Oh my God! Please tell me that you can hear me. Yes, I believe the VU meter is banging. I've got the limiter set at about like -2 or -3 dB, which is a little bit low for even me. Usually, I like to have it at like -1 or higher. But thanks, Missy. Yep. Sorry, guys. That was my fault. 19 of you watching. Oh my God! Thank you so much. My ego is exploding. What time we got over there? Oh, 11 a.m., Andy. All right. Very cool. Matt Tack, good to see you. Thank you for coming by, my friend. I really appreciate everything about you and our interaction. Need to have a banging meter. Boom. Absolutely, Missy. I completely agree with that. Okay, cool. So you're 12 out. So you are literally on the other side of the world from me, aren't you? Very cool. End of an era. Mom sold the house. We aren't neighbors anymore. Best neighborhood ever. Yeah. So I grew up on the street. We were at the end of a cul-de-sac, both Missy and I. She was not, I think she's like either number 27 or 26 or whatever. And I'm 28, which is the end of the street. And her mom just sold her house and they lived there for, look at that. And it actually worked. Just $25. Dude, are you serious? Wow. Thank you. That's a lot of smoothies, bro. I really appreciate it. But yeah, so it's just my folks and then a couple of other families, basically Dows and Brabowskis. And as far as I know, that's it. It's all like new. 1977 is when you moved in. I moved in 1970, or my parents moved in 1970. They threw me on their shoulder and brought me with them, which was very gracious. But I didn't have a whole lot of the moving responsibility to come in, which was very nice. I really appreciate that. Go on, I gotta love Thailand. Hi, look at you, like, dude, TLAing, dude. You're absolutely doing the 3-letter abbreviation, which I just totally appreciate. John in SoCal, dude, seriously, kapumakap. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. You're in Newport, right? Yeah, Missy and I hung out in Laguna quite a bit. or she hung out in Laguna quite a bit. We didn't hang out together there. Should you watch this stream or Magnum PI? Well, here's the beauty about Magnum PI. And actually, Magnum PI is the reason I bought my first VCR, because I was going to undergrad and I like to record the Magnum PI reruns every night, every afternoon. And then I would watch them at night when I got home, pass out, go to sleep, wake up, do school all over again. And okay, so what's this one, Phil? Morning, bud. Congrats on your achievement. Only 12 steppers really know how it feels to be sober and free from that terrible feeling we suffer on a daily basis. One day, bud, we have a long coffee, and there's always accommodation here in Melbourne. Thank you very, very much. I really, I appreciate your generosity. And what's interesting, I was just about to say, and I appreciate your praise, but what's cool is that, again, like you said, if you haven't been down this road, like I don't know what it's like to have cancer and survive it. Gratefully, right? But hopefully all you guys are like, oh my God, I don't know what it's like to be a recovering alcoholic and survive it, because to get this grateful, unfortunately, one needs to crawl naked through shards of glass to be able to get past it and say, why do you like doing that so much, Mike? Wow, because it feels so good when I stop. Drinking and using is like smacking yourself in the face with a hammer. And when people ask you why you do it, you're like, well, because it feels so good when I stop. That's, and I had a little bit of a gratitude attack yesterday. I was at a meeting. So here's what you may not know. Hold on one second. Let me show you this. Actually, thank you, Hollywood. I'm quite certain you guys actually know or have seen what this is. Let me make my, oh, that's not working. Whoa, what do we got going on? Chris, you crazy nut. Look at you with all of your free cash, your free flowing cash flow. Thank you, sir. I really, really appreciate that. You're awesome. Just ask you. But here, let me do this. Let me make this a little bit more visible. How's that? And I will show you the way it works, and I will do it soberly. How's that? So you can actually see it. So, and here's the interesting thing about the meetings that I go to is the only reason I know how to read Roman numerals is because the tokens that they give us have Roman numerals. So that is XXIX, which is 29, as many of you probably know, growing up in Rome as you have. And anyway, so I am over the moon grateful that I get to have the life that I have. It is something that exceeds my expectations on a regular basis. And it's pretty awesome. If you guys watched the stream last year, then you know that I was equally as grateful last year, but I'm even gratefuler this year because Gracie's here. And so, there's a couple of thousand phrases that you'll hear if you go to 12-step meetings and that sort of thing. And one of them is you can't keep it unless you give it away, right? And being able to share this joy with other people is really pretty awesome. Am I drinking Mellow Yellow? No, actually, that's called 100. It's my own urine, as it turns out, and so it's a little saltier than I'd like. But it's you like the new Magnum? Really? Isn't Higgins a woman? That's just kind of weird, right? Do they still have two dogs? I was a big fan of the Lads. Those guys were really, really cool, and. So thank you guys for the super chats. That's cool. I'm glad that technology worked. Oh my God, I actually did something correctly. Let me go over to the because at the end of this thing, I want to make sure that I do the scroll correctly, and I don't believe that I have the end credits working. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. So now they're rolling live. So with any luck, if I do go to credits, then it should do it correctly, and that would be very, very cool. So because I do want to, really make a point of thanking you guys. So okay. So here you go. So basically, as a preview, this is what it will look like at the end. Wait for it. This took me way too long, but I just wanted to figure out a way to thank everybody at the end, if for no other reason than my memory sucks, and I knew that I wouldn't do it appropriately, or I wouldn't do it elegantly. I wouldn't do it fully. And so then there you go. How to sell CDs. Absolutely, dude. Yeah. How do you get rid? Yeah. Okay. So there you go. So when's Bitcoin going to 40,000? Probably in the next week. I mean, it went down to 32, right? And then it went back up, and then back up, back down. One of the coins I'm invested in, it went up 45% one day and then down 16 the next. And it's just like, whatever, dude. You got to have some intestinal fortitude to believe that your money is going to go in the correct direction as far as altcoins go. And so, indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay, hold on. I'm way behind then, huh? Because I know my audio's back. I'm at 8:15. Your comments are that I'm viewing right now are the ones that. Why are there interstate highways in Hawaii? Well, for one, because it's a state and interstate highways exist. I mean, I know that that's flippant, but that's like the first reason. But the other reason is that there's actually, I mean, in Maui, there's not. I mean, there's numbers, but it's not like they have. Pretty much the only place they have them is in Oahu, right? And you got to remember that, like Honolulu and that sort of thing. I mean, once you get off of the beach, yeah, it's tropical, but you don't really know that you're in Hawaii. Whereas I would submit pretty much anywhere you are in Maui, with the exception of maybe like right near the airport when you come out and you're like, oh my God, this is awesome. I'm in Hawaii. And then you're on this flat land and there's like a Costco and a McDonald's and a Burger King and a Dairy Queen. You're like, wait, what? This isn't Hawaii. Where are the goddamn pineapples? It's like, well, they don't grow them here anymore. Dude, the damn real estate's too damn expensive. It's worth too much. They're not going to grow. They're not going to grow. They're not going to grow pineapples where they could grow condos. That's for sure. So yeah, so they have them there because there is, believe it or not, there's a significant amount of people that need to go from point A to point B faster than you'd expect on an island like that. But it's like I've been to Kauai, I've been to Maui, and they have roads with numbers on them, but they're not necessarily interstate highways. That's for sure. Indeed, sir. Thank you very much. I will take one of those anytime, virtual or real. That is outstanding. Still selling junk. Yeah. Good for you, man. Right on. Yeah, and again, I wanted to, and so, but here's the only disappointment about me is that that's what the super chat thing looks like. Obviously, the looks a little bit better, right? So I thought, all right, well, I'll do that, and then that way, also selfishly, then I won't miss it, right? Because I do get late on my comments, and so thank you to Chris, and thank you to John. I really appreciate it. You guys are like, that's like totally. So wait, what? How much is that? That's like $30, man. That's cool because for one, Gracie and I need to eat. And then the second thing is that I actually need to go buy 2 new XLR cables because of, yeah. And it's not just the cable, actually. I've like resoldered it, made sure it wasn't a cold solder joint, but it's the connectors inside. It's a cheesy XLR connector, actually. The cable's okay. It doesn't have a ton of shielding, but I really want to get some better ones with like a braid, and that sort of thing in case for a little bit more robustness. For my Robusta beans. Should I try coffee upon next visit to Thailand? I note that many of you drink coffee. Well, and then, many people will tell you that I don't drink coffee. I drink sugar with a little bit of bean water in it. And I like 3-in-1 because here's the thing about me and like coffee. And I suppose if I was still drinking maybe like craft beer and that sort of thing, I'm not, it's just like in, out, done. I need to ingest it and I need it to go out of my body sort of thing. I don't want to spend more than 10 seconds basically making coffee. Other people will like savor it and they know about the beans and they know about the weight and they know about the water and that sort of thing, and I have zero interest in that. I like to basically open up a packet of pre-made stuff and then move on. And I was looking online the other day, and the 3-in-1s that we drink, basically they're at least 50% sugar. So, and then I think they're 30% coffee and then like 20% creamer. So anyway, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I personally, I would submit that if you're not a big coffee drinker and you're looking for a beverage and you're coming to Southeast Asia, try some tea. Gilmore Hack, none of us are experts, but many are invested in crypto. I say now is a good time to buy Bitcoin. That's not financial advice, just my thinking. Possibly, yeah. I mean, who knows? Freaking huge, brother. You're so awesome and living the dream. I want to be you someday. Love you, Mango. Matt, I love you too, dude. Matt just celebrated a huge birthday recently too, man. So, High five. High 10. Love you, man. Miss you. That's a great guy. Can you get Folgers coffee here? Great question. I don't know. Maybe. You might be able to get it at like Macro. Well, here's the other thing. You can, especially in Bangkok, you can get anything you want in Bangkok that you can pretty much get in the United States, with the exception of, like, I mean, you can get like Pizza Hut and that sort of thing. I mean, you can't get Little Caesars and you can't get like these, Rallies, burgers. They're not going to have an outlet here, of course. But for the most part, food wise, you can get it. Now, meaning that you can get it doesn't mean you're going to get it at a good price. I mean, I really love Planters salted roasted peanuts, but a jar of that over here costs $9, right? Parmesan cheese I really like on my spaghetti that Gracie makes, and a little bag of that is about $10 or $11. You gonna come over? What do you need? The black one. Here you go. Charged it 96%. No big whoop. So yeah, so you can get a lot of things over here. So probably if you truly want Folgers, then you could probably get it either Villa Market or Macro. And again, that's in Bangkok. The minute you get out of Bangkok, even when I was in Phuket, which one could argue is like, the second highest density level of foreigners that would like want Western products, maybe Pattaya could be, so Pattaya, Phuket, and Chiang Mai. Let's just like throw those all together. And then Bangkok, of course, is just a giant international city, right? So, I mean, yeah, there's ties here, but there's also the opportunity to sell things to Westerners. And it's not like Villa Market closed because there's no foreign tourists here. There is always a line in Villa Market every time I've been over there. That is for sure. You'll make an editor out of me yet? Yeah, I don't know about that, buddy. Yeah, so I drink this stuff called 100, Missy, 100 plus, actually. I used to prefer the white flavor, but they don't have that anymore. They have one that's pretty readily available, and that's yellow. So, with highways in Hawaii, you can never get lost. Just one big circle, even if you cut through the middle. Yeah, absolutely. It's very easy. And let's face it, dude, getting lost in Hawaii, it's like, twist my arm. I'll purposely do that. I'll shut my maps off, man, when I start cruising around. Am I the best version of myself? Yeah, I am actually. Now, the reason I paused, my first thought was, I always have a desire because I'm an addict, right? So my drug of choice is more and better and a lot, and that's it, right? So, am I the best version? Yeah, absolutely. I had no idea that I could be this person. I had no idea I could be this. I could have this life. Do I see room for improvement? Of course. I shouldn't say it that way. Maybe you guys reach a level. Maybe if you're not a recovering drug addict and alcoholic, you're like, no, dude, the minute I was 30, I was like the best I was going to get. And then I just sailed. But for me, I mean, it's a weekly improvement, I would say. I would argue that I'm probably on the sort of 3 steps forward, 1 less than that, probably 5 steps forward, 1 step back occasionally. Not every day, of course. But every now and then, I see some fluctuation and I think, oh, wait a minute. So it's a 12-step program, right? Okay. So the first several, they're like, hey, so here's a start. Don't drink, and I know that sounds really simple, but like the minute you come into this solution, the minute I came into this solution, let me just speak about myself. There were some incredibly simple things that were just like, not the least of which is, go to meetings and don't drink between meetings, And I was like, huh. So if I do that, you're right. I won't stay sober. And if I stay sober, I won't get drunk. And if I don't get drunk, there's a pretty good chance that I won't crawl around on the ground naked, sweating, talking to bugs. Logic, right? But again, here's the thing. It's not just logic, right? I mean, if it were just logic, then all of my sober friends that were observing my behavior at the time would have been like, why don't you just stop drinking? Oh, are you kidding? Genius move. It's like, yeah, right, totally. It's like saying to the guy that's like, 350 pounds sitting there eating chocolate cake, dude, if you want to lose weight, just stop eating chocolate cake. Stop eating chocolate cake. He's like, yeah, but that's what I do, right? I mean, it's the classic It's almost as accurate, really, as the little story about the frog and the scorpion, right? So the scorpion's going to cross or rather, I'm sorry, the frog is going to cross the river, right? And the scorpion comes up and he says to the frog, he says, "Hey, look, here's the thing. I can't swim, but if I get on your back as a frog, you can carry me across this river, and then I'll get to the other side." And the frog's like, "Dude, you're a scorpion. You're gonna zap me and kill me and that sort of thing." And the scorpion's like, "No, no, 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 don't worry about it. Don't worry about it." He's like, "Well, okay, whatever." So the frog throws the scorpion on his back, and he gets halfway across the river. Scorpion zaps him, and the frog, as he's sitting there getting ready to get crippled and die, he goes, "What the hell did you do that for?" He's like, "Well, that's what I do. I'm a scorpion, right?" And so it's like, I'm a drug addict and an alcoholic. So what do? I ingest drugs. I ingest alcohol to basically numb my feelings, to get away from who I am, because I really don't like myself a whole lot. And it's not just because I like the feeling. I do like the feeling. Then I don't like it any longer. There's a discussion, there's a phrase, there's a story, there's a limerick, if you will, that many of us in recovery will talk about. And we say that we drank and we used, and then it stopped working, right? So in other words, I drank first when I was younger in my teen years because that's what my buddies were doing. And it was fun. And then like throwing up was somehow fun too, but that's what you did. Many guys, if you were to say, "Oh yeah, I drank excessively in college," most people would be like, "Well, yeah, right, we do that," but then when you got out of college, you're like, "Well, then I got a job and I did something responsible." I got a job. I don't know how responsible I was, but, I wasn't able to do that. I wasn't able to make that transition. And I truly believe what the American Medical Association has assessed several years ago, which is it is, in fact, a disease. It's got a phenomenon of craving attached to it, which is like when I ingest some, I want even more. It's one thing. Here's what's funny about being someone who's a drug addict and an alcoholic and in recovery. Is when I'm like I'm out somewhere or whatever, and someone who clearly has never ingested drugs says something like, "Oh, dude, I love this stuff. This is like crack." And I'm going, I believe you believe that assessment is accurate, and somehow the way you say it, you believe you're putting a positive label on what you're about to put into. But if you say that to a guy like me, I'm like, what? Do you have any idea how bad that makes that item? If it is in fact like crack, that's like saying, "Dude, this little black bag is fantastic. This is like basically setting fire to all of my loved ones in the same building and killing babies on the random sidewalk that I drive down." No. I'm aware that behavior is not good today. So I understand, what their meaning is. Just like, it's so good, it's addicted. I'm addicted to it and I can't get away from it. This chocolate cake is like crack. So I would invite you moving forward in your life, if you use a phrase like that, if you use that phrase or you use a phrase like that, I would encourage you to find another one, because here's an interesting thing. So I remember being at like a meeting. It was a drug related meeting. It was less of an alcohol meeting. It was a drug related meeting. And someone new, right, was there like, "Oh, dude, this stuff is like crack." And people look at him like, "Really? It's that bad?" So anyway, that's just like my spin on life. And when you come back to the States, do you bring certain foods back with you? No, I actually do it the other way. Well, it depends on your modifier there. When I come back to the States, I bring back certain foods when I come back to Thailand. There are some things here that are so ridiculously expensive because I basically have to have them shipped via FedEx effectively from the United States here to get them here. Great example. Band-Aids. So in the United States, you can go to Costco or you can go to Walmart or you can go many places and you can get a box of like 1,000 Band-Aids for like $10. Over here, they sell Band-Aids in little packages of 5 for $1. And they're not good quality and they don't last and they're not like fabric. And that whole industry for some reason has not advanced over here to the level of it is in the United States. And of course, there's the economy of scale. And so therefore, again, but what I do seriously, so there are some things that I just get that I can't get over here that I like having around, and one of them is Band-Aid brand, the fabric bandages. I buy those on Amazon.com. I pay $7 for a bag of 100, and I have them shipped here for $22. Okay. Planters peanuts, same thing. I go down to Villa Market when I really want them, when I can sort of like justify it and be like, okay, I'm going to get a thing of these peanuts, and it's going to be $9 for this thing when normally it would cost me about $2.99 at Smart and Final in Coronado, where the most expensive place in the world exists. The most expensive gas in certainly the mainland. Gas is definitely more expensive in Hawaii, but in Southern California, man, Coronado, my God, it's at least $1, if not $1.50 higher there than 6 miles south in Imperial Beach. Coronado gas is always really expensive. It's probably $5 right now because summer's coming too. So, but the the other thing that I like when we go to the Philippines and come to Thailand is they're basically Oreo cookies, if you will. They're chocolate cookies, but they're filled with orange flavored white stuff. They're made by a company called Bingo, and so the orange flavor, so Orange Bingo. And Gracie brings like packages of those when she came last time. That was really nice. I like those. Those are silly little dessert things. Antacid. I know that's going to sound crazy. I brought this up before. So like the things of Tums, and in Costco you can get literally 1,000 fruit flavored Tums for like $4. Those don't exist over here. They don't have that over here, amidst the fact that their food overall is quite spicy, and an antacid every now and then wouldn't hurt. However, I also know that I don't need antacid if I drink a hell of a lot less Coke Zero. So those are the sort of things that I bring back here. There's nothing really. Again, it's the United States, right? I mean, you can get anything in the United States, anything, and so. I don't really need to bring a whole lot. I mean, I'll bring like maybe some clothes that we can't, like for my mom, like we bring her some stuff back. I send my mom postcards regularly, although lately they haven't been making them there, they haven't been arriving in, since a reasonable amount of time, which is a bit disappointing. Honestly, consider myself to be a failure. That mindset propels self-improvement. So yeah, whatever works for you, man. We've been back and forth on chat, and I would argue that you are not a failure. But however you want to label it is okay. I would just encourage you to not refer to good friends of mine as failures, be that yourself or other third parties. But anyway, 5 more minutes, and it's your first time at 6:30 p.m. We'll see you about 40 after. All right, my friend. That sounds great. Yeah, so 8:32 a.m. in Bangkok on May 29th is 6:32 p.m. in Southern California. And so the OBR&R at 6:30 p.m. was the Up the Old Wazoo meeting. And I walked in there, and one of the readings we had in the group, which is similar to other meetings, and just so you know, the majority of 12-step meetings are what we refer to as open meetings, which means anyone can go and just sit there and listen and watch or whatever if you want. If you have any sort of educational interest in the 12-step program and why it is arguably quite successful. I mean, and again, the good news is that when I showed you my token, that sort of thing, my chip, a lot of you have probably been like, oh, yeah, I remember seeing that in this movie, or I saw that in this. I mean, Hollywood is really adopted the fact that, like in Hollywood movies, it's sort of standard that someone has a car, right? And then now it's like about 25% of all the characters seem to be going to AA, right? Like it's just and I can tell you that it's not that well populated, okay? I mean, overall, if you consider just the population of the United States is about 330 million. The density of people that are in recovery, that are in Hollywood type shows and that sort of thing, it's not that high. And if it was, then we wouldn't have enough room. So Gracie likes it here. We both have really, come to like and feel comfortable here in Bangkok. But also, again, one of the reasons why we really like Bangkok is it's so easy to leave Bangkok, right, and go to like other places. when life is normal. The visas that she can get and will get here are, that's a frustration for many people. And it's just something that occurs over here. I mean, if you consider the fact that, yeah, it's kind of a pain in the ass, but she has a visa that allows her to go to the United States for 6 months at a time. And it's good for 10 years. And it basically costs like $350 to get the whole thing. Okay. For 10 years. Now over here, I just paid my attorney more than that to get Gracie a 60-day extension on her visa. So, I mean, if you compare the visas that are available for a place that arguably is quite desirable to go to, the United States, to the visas that you need to get to stay over here more than, let's say 90 days. I mean, the cost is ridiculous. I mean, it's like basically having to buy Planters peanuts in Bangkok, Thailand every day of your life. I mean, it's just ridiculous, the cost. To a country that really likes having foreigners here certainly from a financial perspective, and has designed so many things for people to be here on vacation, but let's face it. I mean, in comparison to some other countries, it's sort of ridiculous. The visas that you need to get to stay here long term. It's like the more you like it, the more they punish you. It's very bizarre. But that said, it's just one of the things you got to do, right? So, for example, if I really, really, really wanted to live in New England, I'd actually have to own pants and like a jacket of some substance. And I think I've worn pants 4 times since I've lived here permanently since November of 2019. I wear shorts every single day, cargo shorts or just, whatever. So yeah, we like it here. She likes it here. And, she wishes there weren't so many delays right now. I mean, trust me, I get it. But the good news is that we absolutely will get married. And by the time all of this stuff happens, so it's not like we have this like date to like show up in the church, like we don't have like a date that we've reserved a hall, for a thing back in Hamadan. But we're absolutely going to have a celebration in Hamadan. But, we can't really sort of put anything in stone yet. So listening to your stories is like being on crack. Ha ha. Indeed. Thank you so much, John. Appreciate it. Don't like chocolate cake, but I love chocolate milk. And I will tell you right now, dude, Hike, the chocolate milk over here, I'm very pleased with it. Opposite in that chocolate conundrum. Salted or unsalted planters, Mike. I'm taking notes. So salted, yeah. I mean, I have 3 bottles right now of unsalted simply because they were a really good deal. And like, meaning they were like 65% off the normal cost here. So I got them and they keep, because they're obviously vacuum sealed, not nitrogen. So they'll last a long time. But yeah, prefer the salted. Now things are settled down. Good morning to everybody. All right. Way to go, Chris. Thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate that. Go get the book, The Unplugged Alpha by Richard Cooper on Amazon. There's an audio version too. Interesting. That was, I assume, based on the fact that he labels himself a failure when I would assess he's not. Used to be a time when I was real down on myself too, but advice books like Richard Cooper's book helped me out. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing. It's not like there isn't a book for, the 12-step process. I mean, this is a manual, right? Anyway, the reason I brought up the 12 of them is, and to be the best version of myself, Hike, is that in the 10th step, there are some exercises that are, sort of advised, sort of thing. And one of the ways that they talk about is they're like, look, there's a spot check inventory. Like you do something and you're like, oh, did I just really do the right thing? Oh man, I really shouldn't have reacted that way, or I shouldn't have responded that way, or I shouldn't have done that thing, or I shouldn't have done, so now I owe that person, I need to really go back and I need to apologize. And I don't just say, I'm sorry, I give them an amends, because that's what really makes you grow forward, which is you say, hey, look, I'm really remorseful for the behavior that I engaged in. I commit to you that I will never do that again if you believe truly that you can. And is there anything I can do to make it more right other than just like telling you these things? In other words, you steal $1,000, you go back to someone and say, you know what, I'm really sorry that I stole that $1,000 and I'll never do it again. And then you leave and the guy's like, dude, where's my $1,000? So, part of it is like, oh, and I'm going to repay you right now or to the best of my ability. Or look, I was homeless and I needed $100 or I needed $1 to buy some bread. I will pay you back to the best of my ability, but I'm still homeless. So I can pay you back 20 cents a day for the next 5 days and I'll work through it or whatever. Is that acceptable to you? If not, right? So So there's that process. So it's cool because, in other words, you don't just like work through the first 12 steps in the first 12 days in the program, and then you graduate and you're like, this sobriety thing is going to be a piece of cake. Here I am 29 years later. I went to a meeting yesterday. I'm going to go to a meeting today. Now, part of it, a large part, is to be a visible solution, I believe, to other guys. I was in a meeting the other day and I'm there. And at the time I had 28 years and 361 days or whatever, and there was a guy there with 6 days, right? Now, when I came in and I had 6 days, someone who had 29 years, that was impossible. That's like saying, well, what are you doing for vacation? Well, we're going to drive up the freeway, and from Massachusetts, we're going to go into New Hampshire, or we're going to go, cherry picking or banana picking or whatever you do there. And the other guy, and he says, oh, well, what about you? What are you doing? You're like, oh, well, I've got this SpaceX flight and I'm going to circle the room. I'm going to circle the moon. And you're just like, what? What are you talking about, dude? I drive 71 VW. How do you even, so there's this gargantuan delta. However, if you've got 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years or whatever, and you're struggling and you're just like, I don't understand this. Like, I'm sober. Like, everything in my life should be good. I showed up, for God's sake, and I'm not drinking anymore. How come it's not? And some guy says, look, dude, I've got 29 years and I totally get it. The only way you get 29 years if you just have some imperfection along the way. And at 9 years of that 29 years, I really, really wanted to kill myself. But I did all of these things. And then potentially, if the guy really, is able to be open-minded, he says, wow, I'm going to learn from your mistakes. I am not going to want to kill myself. And here's all the things you told me that you did not do or did incorrectly, up to the point where you had a gun in your mouth. If I don't do those bad things, or if you said you didn't go to meetings, maybe if I go to meetings. You said you weren't nice to your mom, so maybe if I'm nice to my mom. You said you cheated on the bar exam, maybe if I don't cheat on the bar exam. Whatever it is, then I'm going to maybe, be able to get over that hump that you described was really a dip in the road. And I'm going to be the best version of myself today, tomorrow, and the next day, and that sort of thing. And I'm going to be able to show people, that they're a success. Arguably, I'm a little bit younger than the average. Okay. So being in your early 50s and having like 30 years of sobriety is not as common as, say, being 70 years old and having 30 years of sobriety. Okay. So because of that, there are younger guys that are coming in right now. Like this one guy that had, 6 days the other day. He had 6 days the other day. 3 or 4 weeks prior to that, when I saw him, he had like 100 and something. So unfortunately, part of his story is he went back out. He's like, this is too tough. I don't want to do it, or whatever. Or I'm an addict and I can't stop on my own. That's the whole thing here, And the big difference between something like this and something like cancer is that, like, you don't get cured by cancer. Say, you know what, dude? I don't know why I'm going to do it, but I'm going to go out and get that again. I'm going to totally... I tell you what, I just survived lung cancer. I am going to go just like, I'm going to start mining for coal. I'm going to like ingest. It doesn't matter what it takes. I'm going to start ingesting asbestos. I don't know. I just want to do. No. Whereas with alcohol, in my experience and the experience I've seen in others, is that, you can't stop. Like, trust me, I had people in my life looking at me going, dude, why are you doing, like, you beat yourself up so much. Look at you. You weigh 130 pounds, dude. And I've been up to 230. I'm not quite there yet. A few more orange bingos and I'll probably be there. But, I was just torturing myself. And so that doesn't occur in other scenarios. And so therefore, there needs to be sort of this carrot, if you will. There needs to be this vision of success. And I'm not saying I am that for everybody, but, I go back because it's like, look, dude, I have a solution here. Trust me. Because if you've got like 30 days and you're really freaking out and you don't know what you're going to do for the next month, and some guy with like 45 days comes up and says, oh, I got this. Let me give you some advice, kid. It's like, yeah, but you're not really. Where if someone comes up and they have like 2 or 3 years, then you can say, well, shoot. You went through your first wedding sober. You made it through your first Christmas sober. You went through your first July 4th sober. You went through your first date sober. You went through your first. Whatever. Graduated high school, graduated college, got your first job, lost your first job, went through your first divorce, got your first marriage, whatever. It's like I have these like older brothers, if you will, that I rely on for their successes to be able to be like, dude, how did you do that? Much like many of us potentially who have come over here, I'll just speak for myself. I watched guys on YouTube and I judge them as being either successful or unsuccessful at moving to Thailand from the United States or even from Canada. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I like what he did, but I didn't like what he did. I'm going to do that, but I'm not going to do that, you know? And so, it's really good to have those kind of mentors in my life. And it's one of the things that I'm just so grateful for, is that if I'm open-minded enough, there can be a guy with 6 days who acts as a mentor for me that day about something that he's doing. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that. Or I have a friend who I shared about him the other day on a live stream that also gave me a gratitude attack. You're not Joe. You're not late. And that was that, he's got, I think, 36, 37 years of clean time, of being sober. Okay, well, that's just one part of his life. He's also got 2 arms and 2 legs and more hair than I do, and he probably owns red headphones and not black ones or whatever. But there's all of these things. But what he's going through right now is he's got a job that is very sort of, I mean, it's a smack in his ego. It's not the career job. I mean, it's just literally a job. He is surviving. And and that's tough, and he's doing the best he can. But I will tell you right now that I believe one of the reasons, certainly, that he can't get out of his own way, or that he can't see the next solution other than just like surviving for one more day, is he's not going to meetings. Now, he's not drinking. So you might say, well, why the hell do you think he needs to go to meetings, Mike? Why is he going to, you go to meetings because you don't want to drink. In my experience, I go to meetings not because it keeps me from drinking. It keeps me from making bad decisions. And I really don't know why that is. And I do not care, because the solution, the result of me going to meetings is that I have a loving relationship with Gracie, and I didn't set out. I wasn't like, okay, here is the architecture for me meeting Gracie in January of 2016 and us planning this life together and doing. I just like showed up with the best that I could. And when I was on vacation in Boracay, where we met, probably less than 3 days prior to us going to dinner the first night, I was at a meeting. I walked down the beach. I'd walk about 45 minutes down the beach. It's not like, oh my God, I walked up the hill in the snow both ways. No. I walked down the beautiful beach in Boracay. And I went to a meeting, and I hung out with like 2 or 3 other guys, and they were sitting there, and there was a new guy that showed up, Filipino guy. And he's like, yeah, I'm really struggling or whatever. He's, I don't really know how to do this. And he's like, this one guy's like, well, I got 3 or 4 years, dude. And I'm hanging in there. He's like, oh my God, that's so amazing. And they get to me, oh, what are you doing here? Oh, I'm on vacation. Oh, well, how you doing? I got 23 years. And this kid just is like, what? I mean, he literally like glued himself to me. And I was like, look, you can't get 23 years in 25 minutes, dude. I said, you got to go through what you got to go through. But how about this? How would I help you stay sober for the next 24 hours? Because if you can do that, then you're a miracle. I mean, I did not have the ability to not drink and use for a whole 24 hours. But you guys, some of you guys, and you guys now, you like give me this positive energy, this reinforcement, this solution, this joy, this ability to come here on my, gratitude attack live stream that I promise I'm going to end in 7 minutes so that you guys can go to all of the other Thai vlogger live streams at 9 a.m. And I get to have a life beyond my wildest dreams. Like, I mean, I dreamed of like having piles of money and all of this stuff. But I got to tell you, I think I feel better in my life right now, and have for about 1.5 years of being over here. I think I feel better now than I would feel if I had truly like won the lottery, 10 million, 20 million, such an amount of money that was so ridiculously high that I just wouldn't worry about spending, about money. I wouldn't worry about budget. I would buy whatever the hell I wanted. Well, here's the thing, is that in my life today, like, I don't want a 70-foot boat, 70-foot yacht. I don't even want a 70-inch TV. I want a 40-kilo Gracie, 45-kilo Gracie, right? I mean, I want like a softbox that costs, $26. I want a mop that Gracie and I can go buy at Big C, and therefore we can clean our apartment so that when I go out and I come back, it's like cleaner or whatever. It's cleaner for both of us. I mean, dude, these are wins that you think that potentially that I thought, let me just say that, were really silly. I can't believe this guy's happy just only owning 7 suits. I can't believe that poor guy has to go out and buy shoes that cost less than $400. Oh my God. Let me pity him. And now I'm like, I get really, really happy when Gracie and I come home and we have bags of food and we total it all up and it costs 600 baht. And then she makes something with vegetables that tastes 5 times better than the stuff that's made on the sidewalk down the street. And just so we're clear, the stuff made on the sidewalk down the street is the best food in the goddamn world. Best food in the whole world is made on the sidewalk in Thailand. And, and then I get that +1 here, right? So, I mean, this gratitude attack that I'm having right now, and that's the other reason why I made my screen smaller so you wouldn't see the tears in my eyes. So I'll remain cool. I am the luckiest guy in the world. And I really hope that any of you guys can stop this video, look at the nearest mirror, look at yourself, take a selfie of yourself, whatever, and you look in there and say, no, Mike's full of crap. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. And I swear to God, I hope you can do that. Because I had no idea that was available. I just figured I'd go to meetings and I'd stop waking up like basically vibrating with blood gushing out of my nose and vomit everywhere and not know why the hell I have money or don't have money or have 5 lighters in my pocket or have 4 people on my couch or have nobody around me. And I'm like so friggin' alone that I can't even buy a friend, if you know what I mean. And I absolutely hate myself. And the only thing I can think is that, God, I cannot wait till that next check comes here and I'll be nice to that person until that check shows up. But then the minute that gets, I don't care about them. I will literally badmouth them in public if I possibly have to, if I want to. But now I get to wake up and I have this level of respect for myself and the people that I get to have in my life, like Gracie, like my mom, like my dad, like Joe, Chris, Hike, Dana, just everybody. John, I mean, all of you guys, Dave, Mr. Mitch, MetTech. I mean, all of you guys, White Wolf, Missy, who has been around and seen me imperfect. And still hangs out with me. I'm the luckiest guy in the world, guys. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. And I swear to God, I hope you don't have to crawl through the infamous, shards of glass to be able to get on the other side and say, whew, thank God that's over. To be able to appreciate where you are right now. Because I've often wondered whether, and just so you know, more poodles listen to BKK.FM than any other breed of dog. I don't know if it's a requirement to have a near-death experience to be ridiculously appreciative of life. Speaking of Joe, if you don't subscribe to his channel, I hate you. No. If you don't subscribe to his channel, subscribe to his channel. But don't subscribe to his channel. Watch his more recent video, and it's a scrolling text. And he's the reason where I had the idea to take my story and make it scrolling text. Because I sat through his 5 minutes. And I'm like, okay, I can do like 5. And I don't know how long mine is, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes. It's a few words longer, but at the end of the day, it's very similar. But it's like I had this near-death experience. And now my appreciation for life, because I almost died, is just like, it's huge. I mean, I can't, like I've said before, guys, the reason I tear up so much is because I don't have enough flexible skin to hold all of the gratitude I have inside of me. It has to pour out somewhere. So I either cry or I sneeze or I burp or I fart or whatever, but I can't hold it in. I'm overflowing. I'm overpaid. And I swear it's because I get to hang out with guys like you. I hope you're part of a group where you pause occasionally and you look around, you look left, you look right, and you're like, God, I'm at the Cool Kids table. I hope no matter where you are, you say to yourself, dude, I am at the Cool Kids table. And if you're not, change it. Do something positive to make that table cool. Now, making the table cool and being at the Cool Kids table might, in fact, mean saying, okay, I am done with this freaking table. I can't make it cool. It's made out of balsa wood. There are termites everywhere. I can't tent this. I can't tent this relationship and basically make it. Leaving. I mean, don't forget, like, quitting isn't the worst thing. I mean, as they say, AA is for quitters, right? And, but I bet all of you guys bring so much to the table. And I bet 30% of you that are listening to this right now don't believe you do. And I can't squeeze you happy. I can't pay you happy. But I'll tell you right now, guys, if you can put on my glasses and you could see how awesome life can be. Not if you just get clean and sober. How awesome life can be if you like really just sort of appreciate what's going on. A lot of you guys already do this. I get that. Tons of you guys already add enormous value to your sphere of influence. But to the guys that like, you know, are potentially struggling, or you're like, yeah, it's going okay, whatever. Man, God, if you could just wear my glasses for 5 minutes and see the future that I see the current present that I see, be able to feel this freaking grateful. I can die tomorrow, you know? Because I will have is the best life ever. You know, I and many friends like myself, the fact that I'm not drinking for 24 hours at a time, that's a fucking miracle. I spent so much time and energy, and my body is designed to self-destruct. And I don't do that anymore because all of you guys gave me a solution that is just so much better. And I'm happy when you're here, Joe. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much. Good. Go to sleep. 8 p.m. I struggle to explain to my Thai girlfriend I want to own less to simplify life. Yeah, the good news is that Gracie and I see eye to eye on that. We don't want more stuff. That's the last thing we need. Less stuff, more experience. It may not be necessary, but it helps. Wait a minute, 2017. Thank you for that comment. I really appreciate that. I believe you're new here. Thank you so much for coming. I am honored. Welcome to the Cool Kids table. Everyone else here welcomes you, whether you know it or not. Believe me. Yeah, I think it helps. It probably does. It's probably a catalyst, but it may not be necessary. So let me make sure that I get to all of these, and then I want to make sure that I actually do the credits rolling, because I think I'll thank you guys. It's 2 minutes before 9, and I know that the other guys are going to be starting around 9, so I don't want to encroach. The more stuff you own, the more you worry about losing that stuff, and it is never worth worrying once you get. Copy that, White Wolf. Less stuff, more experience, guys. Less stuff, more experience. All I expect from Mike is a sack of potatoes. I got your sack of potatoes right here, Bodo. Look at you standing there in your underpants. All right, let me get down to this one. 4 minutes left. Oops, hold on. Please say cocaina. Did I pronounce that right? In your best Mexican or Colombian accent. Please say, I don't know how it is. First one needs a purpose. There you go, dude. Maybe that's the key. Maybe you don't have to go through any bad at all. You just got to be like, you know what? Here's my purpose. And you know what? I bet Hike reads a significant amount that allows him to have clarity around that. Be able to set that purpose. I think all of you guys do, actually. Thank you, Patrick. Love you, brother. Thank you for coming by. Thank all of you guys for coming by. And 3 more hours to kill until I have to. Well, Mariano's funny. He's like, we should do a tech show for like 20 or 30 minutes. I'm like, 20 or 30 minutes? Dude, I can't do anything that short. All right, well, let me see if this works. Let me see if this works if I put this up here, because I want to make sure that I thank you guys a lot. So John, Chris, thank you so much for your contributions to the channel financially today. But truly, all of you guys, and that's what I'm working on. I'm working on a scroll like that to thank every single one of you guys that chatted here in the chat, because that's what makes me, that's what fuels me. It's 9 a.m. in the Big Mango. It's Mike's from livemyassoff.com. And on behalf of Mike's and Gracie, I want to say I hope you guys are living the dream. Because if you're not living the dream, please email me, mikes@livemyassoff.com, m@bkk.fm. Let me know how I can help. I love you guys.